everyone, this is Sean with Kill 10 More Seriously. Today we're showing the debut game showcase for KTMS. The very first one is for Soul Master, which is a free action RPG real-time strategy game for computer. This game is primarily focused towards player versus player, but it has a single player campaign too that can be somewhat engaging, but really kind of walks you through the paces of getting used to the player versus player elements of the game. And right now it's an open beta test, so it only has 3 classes. The 3 classes are Knight, which is a tank damage dealing class. You have the Bearcat, which is a rogue style melee class, and then Holy, which is your healer support class. Each one has limited character customization, which isn't a big issue because as you get armor and weapons, your looks will actually change, against your will, basically. But it's not a huge deal. The game is still fun regardless of that, and I think maybe later they might open some more of that stuff up. And I don't know about if they have like a cash shop. I haven't looked at it, but if they do, they might have some more aesthetic things that you can get for your appearance. What we're looking at right now is Eindriff, which is the first city that you end up in. It is your city where everything is centralized to where you can go to missions from here, go to vendors from here. Even here, you can, in the upper right, there's a button for the battle lobby where you go into player versus player matches. Now, I decided not to go into player versus player matches just because my experience with it thus far has been super laggy, and everyone has said that I've talked to at least has said that it's not the norm for that to happen. It was just, I guess, coincidence when I wanted to record it for this video that it was that way. So I opted not to put it in, and I'm going to do something a little different for that to kind of showcase some of that stuff. As far as vendors go, you do have the armor vendor that I was just at. They sell armor and weapons, and those things are level capped. And then I passed by a blacksmith where you can craft custom armor and weapons. Now, I haven't been able to collect enough material to do something like that, even at a low level for like beginner weapons. But from what I've seen, the stats on them are pretty good, so it may be something worthwhile to look into later on. I did also take a look at a soul vendor, which he basically upgrades your souls that you have, rather, and those souls are your units in game. That's part of the real-time strategy elements. And then I just looked at a skill vendor which would upgrade my skills as a soul linker based on my class, and they just upgrade the damage and distance, stuff like that, duration of some of the skills I have. So now I'm going to go over to the mission vendor, and I'm going to take a look at the mission map, and we're going to see, all the ones that have the little green stars are ones that I've fully completed, meaning I've completed all difficulty levels. A lot of the maps are split up into 3 different difficulty levels, starting with easy, normal, and hard. And each difficulty level is opened up with the completion of the previous difficulty level. So for instance, if I beat easy, I can pick normal. If I beat normal, I can pick hard. There is a big leap that I've seen though in difficulty between normal to hard. Something to kind of keep in mind. Now, one thing that I didn't do going into this mission that I picked was get some potions. Potions are actually really important because when you go into a map, you're going to not only be facing the computer, but you're going to be facing computer monsters as well to capture resource points. And without those potions, if you're getting beat up pretty good by the monsters and then the other player as well, you're not going to survive very long. So I made that mistake going in, but it didn't matter. I was still able to beat this mission okay. Now, the reason I chose this mission, though, is that it is set up in a player versus player style. The map is split at an angle. Both sides are exactly set up the same. We both start off with nothing. No resources, no seed, none of that stuff. So we both have to start capturing those points. And what I've done is I've captured that first freebie seed tower there to start harvesting the seed. You see in the top right, that count is going up by the blue crystal. And I'm just going to keep pushing forward, taking out monsters that are around these points to release those seed crystals so I can start harvesting them. And what I'm going to start doing is start building structures as well as doing upgrades and putting up defenses. So as far as controls go, the way the game works is that it controls with WASD while you're in a mission, and you left click to do your main attack, which is just your standard combo hits, and then right click does your soul linker skill, or even if you have souls in formation, it's going to also do a soul skill. You'll use souls before you actually start using your own skills when you have them lined up with you, which you'll see that later. And it's important to use the combos as well as your skills, especially like for instance I had to take on two monsters this time at this seed, and while they're not particularly strong, they have some strong attacks that'll knock me down or push me back. That takes away from my time frame of capturing these resource points. So I don't want to be caught not being able to use that stuff or being cumbersome using it, because then it's going to just delay me overall. And I don't want that to happen because I don't want to be overwhelmed by the other player. And what I've done is in the upper right you can see indication that I've started building my first structure, which is the first structure used to summon souls. It'll summon just the basic souls. So I'm just going to continue on, press on further just to get some more seeds and get those set up. One thing I want to point out is you'll notice that it does show a combo system. The combos that are going on, it shows indication of how many you've done, which that's nice, but there's no reward that I've noticed for anything like the combos, like a point system, better rewards at the end of the map if it's the first time you beat it, or even something showing your rank ability on the map. It just shows the time it takes to beat it, and then it gives you your, your objects, whatever rewards were set up for this map. Now the game is in open beta, but I mean that doesn't mean that that's going to change or that it won't change. So I mean they could add in some sort of reward system later, which I'd like to see. I like personally the reward system of when you're leveling up, you get items, like a little bag of items or something to help you along. One thing I want to show real quick is that I did just do a skill where I right-clicked after I had my souls in formation when they had the cursors on them like that, allowed them to do their dash skill. And each soul that you have in your unit, or your unit composition rather, is going to do a different skill. So you want to know what does what kind of distance they have. So for instance, even though they did a long dash, that dash does have a set distance. So if I'm not close enough to the enemy, it's going to hurt me, which is something I do a lot actually. I'll use this skill on them and not be close enough to an enemy, which I've really got to get that down. It's going to hurt me in player versus player not to know that sort of thing. In the upper right, I've started to get an upgrade using my seeds. So that's an attack upgrade, and then later I'm going to get an armor upgrade, and you can actually stack those as far as I've seen so far as 2 of each, but you can only do 1 upgrade at a time no matter how many buildings you have structured. I wish that you could set up another building that would allow for multiple upgrades at the same time. That's something I like about real-time strategy games like StarCraft. I was able to do that, is do multiple upgrades at the same time if I had 2 buildings to do so. So if I was able to do that, it'd be a little bit better. It'd make things a little faster paced. Next thing you're seeing is that I'm able to go out on the field and just set towers and stuff wherever I want to. So what I've set up is 2 defense towers and a repair tower. The defense towers will attack the enemy, and the repair tower will repair those towers, as well as seed towers. And what's cool is you've noticed the seed towers actually do attack without having to have defense towers around them. Some games will have, your resource point won't have any form of defense on it. You have to set up a perimeter of defenses on it. So it's nice to have that. And what I'm trying to do basically is keep the enemy from coming up here at any given time on either side and really be able to push forward. So I'm trying to take him out. One thing I want to point out is that, yeah, I've just killed him once, but his souls are still alive, and he can still call them back to him once he revives again. And you have 2 lives on every map that I've seen so far, and if you get knocked out 3 times, or you knock the other player out 3 times, it will actually, in the game, you'll win over them. Now, if there's more characters, of course, you're going to need to kill them or take out their base. So you actually have 2 ways you can defeat the game, or beat the match, rather, is to defeat the other player's soul linker 3 times, or take out the other base. Taking out the other base is a harder thing to do because, like you see on me, I've got all these defense towers, and so the other player's not going to be able to get in very easily and take out my base. Especially even if I die and I respawn, I'm going to be back at my base summoning souls again. So it's going to be a difficult thing to do. For me, it was easier in this particular gameplay match to try to take out the soul linker. Now, right now, he is on me with a lot of guys. He's got more guys coming in, and I don't have any more. I have a ton of seed, but I am not summoning souls. I don't know why I wasn't. I think I was just kind of in the zone, kind of flustered, not thinking right, because I got attacked up there earlier, and I pushed him back, but running down here trying to collect this resource, and he's all on me again. But he just killed me. And you see there's a time limit between when you revive again. The time limit it does two things. It holds you back from being able to start playing again, but you can build structures and set up upgrades like I was doing. But it also lets the other player just kind of do what they want to do for those few seconds while you respawn again. So I kind of wish that you would just automatically respawn, but it does give you time to just kind of go ahead real quick and set up some structures. So it's kind of nice to do that without having to worry about moving around and dodging some attacks too at the same time. So sometimes that can get a little confusing, but once you know your hotkeys and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier to do those sort of things, which is what I like. So at this point, I've killed the other player a second time, so now I definitely know, hey, I need to go ahead and kill him out and just finish it off. But I want to go ahead and try to get this resource over here just in case the match lasts longer than it should. So going for that. And really, the gameplay-wise, I mean, it's really good mix because you have the real-time strategy elements by building the towers, upgrading your units, using your units accordingly, as well as harvesting your resources and just trying to make sure that you're pushing forward and just pushing back. Don't let him take all the resource points. So, but what's also nice is that you don't have to necessarily kill the base. You can just kill the Soul Linker out, and that's that. So, what they've done with Soul Master is really try to keep it, a lot of real-time strategy elements, but still keep that action element in there. So that way you're not just, pushed to beating the match one way. So, two dynamics there. Now, right now, he's definitely taking me out. He's killing all my souls. I gotta run away and use my skills, make sure that I don't die. But it looks like I'm going to be able to make it. He's basically almost dead. I got a bunch of guys coming in. So I think I've taken this one. And with that, that's basically how gameplay is in Soulmaster. I hope you enjoyed. I hope the commentary was enough to give you at least a little insight, even from low-level gameplay. And once again, I don't have high-tier gameplay, but I just hope you enjoyed it, and please do check it out.